Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pitch Perfect. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome someone who is redefining what it means to lead in sales enablement, Brittanie Yale. She's a strategic thinker, a change agent, and a self proclaimed rebel who doesn't just support sales teams, but she transforms them. From her early days on the front line in sales to driving B2B tech enablement at scale, Brittany has built a reputation for turning complexity into clarity and for equipping sellers with skills to move from transactional conversations to true consultative mastery. She's an AI innovator and believer in blending human connection with technology to drive revenue growth. In her spare time, she's a published author, a public speaker. More importantly, she's a mom of four people, providing that high performance and authenticity can go hand in hand. Wonderful, right? Brittany is here to share her insights on sales strategy, enablement, and how AI tools like Outdo are reshaping the way we coach, close deals, and accelerate the growth. Brittany, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Glad. I'm equally excited too. So now let's start with the journey, maybe, right?
Okay.
So you've worn more hats in your career, from BDR to sales enablement manager to consultant and strategist, right? What's the common thread that's guided you through all these roles?
Yeah, no, I've actually worn very many more hats than that. But the thing that really drives me is I look at work like it's a puzzle. I want to see, do I have all of the pieces? Could I put them together differently? Is there a faster way that I could possibly solve this? So no matter what my role is, I don't buy into the status quo. I don't care if this is how we've always done things. I believe in process evolution. I want to see how we can make it better. And that's been my approach in every role. I'm not here to keep the system running. I'm really here because I want to challenge the system. I want to find a better path forward, even if no one asked me to. And sales enablement has kind of been that place where I'm doing that now.
Wonderful. Maybe the reason why the word rebel is used.
Yes.
Interesting, very interesting. So you talk a lot about bridging the gap between vision and execution, right? So for someone new to the concept like me and a lot of others, how would you define sales enablement in your own words?
It's a really good question. And honestly, when I looked at this, I think we've been doing sales enablement wrong. Often when people think of sales enablement, they quickly go to playbooks, talk tracks, and training that, sometimes no one uses. If I have to relate it to a sports metaphor of what sales enablement is, I feel like the bat girl. I hand the rep the bat, and then I have to tell them how to swing it every single time. So what I have been kind of doing with my sales enablement is I focus on sales empowerment instead. So how do I make sure they're confident with that bat in their hands? Can they read the picture? Can they adjust for the weather? Can they scan the field and still knock it out of the park? That's that difference that I want to do with sales enablement. Enablement gives us tools. Empowerment makes sure reps know how to use them.
Interesting. I really like the way you said enablement is empowerment, right? Like the way you look at things, really amazing. Wonderful.
It has to be about empowerment.
Yeah. I mean, probably they should rename it.
I'm working on it.
Interesting. So you've helped sellers make that shift in the mindset, right? So what's that one small change reps can start with tomorrow to move in that direction?
I always tell reps to be curious, and that's that mindset shift that they need. Recently, I ran a virtual escape room for my reps. And in this virtual escape room, they were role playing with a bot. Now they thought the goal was to sell that bot something, but the goal was really to solve the puzzle of what was going on. And I noticed that when clues were given to them, they needed a little bit, they would just take the clue and run with it. What they needed to do was ask more questions and dig in deeper. That's where that curiosity leads to consultative selling. In a real escape room, you would be flipping everything over. You would check behind the furniture. You would test that weird light switch on the wall. You don't assume anything's decoration. And that's that same approach reps need when they're on a call with a client or a prospect. They should approach that with their buyers. They're dropping clues between their lines. If you stay surface level, you're going to miss that kind of stuff. So be curious, dig in deeper. That's where real opportunity lies.
Wonderful. So that should probably start from the discovery call itself, where they have the curiosity helps them build a better case to close the deal better.
Yeah, sellers are always looking for the answers they want to hear, but when they get curious, they find the real answers of what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, this is very interesting, right? See, nowadays also what is happening is a lot of sellers do their research enough before even reaching out to the representatives or the company, right? So it's two-way. Like, it's not like one way where we directly pitch and then we are trying to solve your problem. They're also coming up with what are the pros and cons and what are the solutions. They are already doing that research. I think
they're doing all the work beforehand, so they think they know the answer, but treat it like an escape room. You don't know the way out yet. You have to dig into all those clues and find that secret hidden door somewhere.
Wonderful. So how do you design, just curious, how do you design this whole escape room game? Is it like a gamification or something?
Yeah, it's a gamification. I just use AI bots, but they log in, and whether it's a collaborative thing or they're doing a challenge back and forth, there's usually some kind of hidden thing going on in any of my bots. I don't want it to feel very scripted. I want them to come out and be like, all right, now I can handle anything.
So you want to keep them very natural while they solve it.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice, very nice. So yeah, so one more probably going next. So buyers today are more informed and more skeptical than, like I said earlier. How has that changed the way we need to enable and coach sales teams better and all?
Yeah, no, and today's buyers are sharp. They've done their homework too, just like we're doing our homework. They've done it too, and let's be, we're all buyers in some form or fashion. None of us want to be sold to. None of us want to have to have that interaction. So that's why enablement has to evolve too. It can't just be product knowledge and slide decks and features and benefits. When I build the training for my reps, I ask, why does this matter not only to the seller, but what outdated mindset do I need to break to help them? So because sellers already know how to talk, we all know how to talk. It's coaching them to think. It's connecting the dots. It's reading between those lines. It's to spot what isn't being said. And when I do that, that's when I start seeing people stop selling at people and start partnering with their buyers.
Interesting. Yeah, this is very nice point of view. Like you said, we're all, by default trained to talk what exactly matters there at that point. Thinking everything, training them to do all this is very, very important. Interesting. Yeah. Maybe, going back to what you said about the whole training part and script group, right? So, just giving an example, in sports generally, athletes use simulations to prepare for the real game. That's quite tough. So, how can sales teams use this realistic role play to be ready for the toughest customer objections? And just understand this.
No, like you said it before, it's in sales, it's just like sports. You can't expect your first time you face a challenge to be perfect, and you don't want that first time to be game day. The problem is with most role plays that I've seen, they feel very scripted and it's kind of low stakes. So reps kind of tune it out. They're like, this is just whatever. But I have started flipping that. So I design those simulations where reps have to think on their feet. They have to adapt. They have to deal with the curveballs, just like what they'd be dealing with when they're on a phone call with a real buyer. AI-driven personas that I have created, they push back, they go quiet randomly, or they change direction mid-call, so that rep has to be engaged. They have to be locked in. The point isn't to give the right answer. I'm not looking for the right answer. I'm looking to see if reps can stay composed, if they can keep the conversation moving towards that value. So when you make practice harder than the game, it makes the real thing kind of easy. So that's what I kind of focus on when I think of coaching my reps.
Oh, that's very nice, Brittany. So I have one doubt. Like, one is definitely how they're doing, how their progress is, everything, right? So at the same time, so one factor probably that could be concerning to the companies and all is the speed. The so some representatives take months to ramp up. So how can the technology and the structured enablement cut that time in half without sacrificing on this quality which you are mentioning earlier?
And that's something I hear all the time. Like, how can we do this faster? How can we scale faster? And I wish I could say that my onboarding was perfect. It's not perfectly polished, especially since I'm in a company that has merged 3 organizations into one. Everything's evolving constantly. And honestly, it should. Our market is changing rapidly right now. Products are changing. Buyers are changing. Onboarding has to change too. So it can't be something static. So for me, when I look at onboarding, tech plays 3 roles for me. It's going to show me where the gaps are. It's going to give reps more opportunities to practice. And I can also see where someone needs help. I can drop them into a realistic scenario to work through that exact objection handling or, putting together that perfect narrative. I can put them in that scenario so they can get through that and over that faster and then start to apply what they've learned. That's how I'm using tech to shorten ramp without cutting that quality. I want them to face those challenges before they get it in front of a customer. So that's where I see tech helping the most.
Wonderful. Yeah, I think that is very important, right? Like with the technology changing so drastical and so quick with AI enablement and all. So I think people are ramping up quite quick. But yeah, like the quality part was something very interesting where which is very, very important and all. So one probably the quick question is like in the process, like when you're creating the whole plan to train your representatives and all. So you create this customized coaching for each representative, or how do you do that in general?
I mean, I have some bare bones scenarios that I can kind of piece together. The way that I have built most of my bots, there's an option with endless scenario based on here's these challenges we can work through. Here's some personas, randomly mix them together, throw a rep in. This is their objective.
Interesting, very nice. So yeah, since we talked about AI and all, so I just wanted to probably go further where, so I mean, I keep hearing this in our calls and all, where many representatives say that they spend a lot of time on data entry than actually selling, right? So which is one challenge. So what's your take on how automation can bring them back to the customer conversations rather than spending their time on data updates and everything?
Yeah, I mean, if you ask any seller what eats their time, it's not calls, it's not prospecting, it's that admin grind. It's updating your CRM, logging your activity, digging for all that content, like doing that hunting mode. None of that is why they got into sales, and it definitely doesn't drive revenue. So that's where I look to find automation, and AI can change the game. It's not about replacing reps. That's not what I need. It's about giving them time back. It's a tool that can log their notes for them. It can surface the right content for them, or it can pull those deal insights without them spending hours in spreadsheets. It's more about that time spent actually selling. So the way I see it, every hour a rep isn't in that revenue driving motion. We're losing money. So automation isn't about efficiency. It's more about that high value selling time getting reclaimed.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Nice. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, so one very interesting question I wanted to ask, which is like, see, so you have seen so much of data, so much of the whole in the process, right? So have you ever spotted a hidden gem deal in the pipeline that no one saw coming? Like, how can better data visibility help us catch those earlier in the sequence?
Yeah. I wouldn't say I found a hidden gem myself, but I have helped reps take the data they have and turn it into a story that matters to the buyer. Because the way I see it, data isn't going to close the deals. It's just numbers until you can connect it to the intent, to the context, to the real challenges that your buyers are facing. That's where that visibility gets really powerful. When you can see the more layers, so the more data you have, the signals, the engagement, the trends, the internal activity, being able to take that and weave that into a richer narrative instead of, hey, here's the data, it becomes, here's what the data means for you. And that's that shift that creates urgency and relevance. That's where maybe I haven't found that hidden gem, but it's never been about more dashboards for me. It's more about that intent in the story that gets told to the buyer. And that's where I have seen the most impact.
Very nice. So I mean, I wanted to actually, I just thought of a follow-up question to my earlier question where, so it is about data versus the AI and all, right? So see, when there is an adoption of the automation and technology into the system, sales representatives, I mean, like as an enablement lead, you will be very happy to have this automation because there is a good transparency and the data is flowing well and all. But is there any kind of resistance from the sales representatives? Because one is some people may not want to have this super transparent and all, and some people really wanted this to help them save more time, like you said, like to increase their revenue hours, right? So how what's your take on that? Is there any resistance?
I, I, I don't see a ton of resistance. I don't think it's more about the data or more about the time. I think it's empowering them to make the best decisions with what they have. I really do.
So in a lot of cases, right, we've seen all the sales dashboards full of data. Like, what actually makes a rep act on the insight when they look at the data and dashboards?
Confidence to use it. It's the confidence to use it, because dashboards can feel overwhelming. Or they can feel really abstract when you're a rep. You know, you're in the front lines, you're in the weeds with buyers. So it's the confidence to take that data and turn it into a story. Here's what this means for my buyer. Here's that next step. That's where action actually takes place. And I've seen it over and over. The moment the rep feels confident about telling the story behind the numbers, they really do stop hesitating. They reach out faster. They go higher in the org. They push deals forward. Data doesn't move the deals. It's the confidence that does. And confidence comes from knowing how to turn insights into narrative.
Wonderful. Yeah, I mean, so interesting, right? Like whatever. I mean, I can realize that all this technology, automation, AI, whatever we are talking about, everything empowers them. But at the end of the day, they have to build their confidence that they are the ones who are capable to do this.
So I actually only track 3 KPIs. Confidence, curiosity, and creativity.
I don't think any of the technology can bring this. That's the person's ability to, and then in the process of training, they'll be able to build all this, right? It's interesting. Yeah. So we will, let's talk about a bit on the coaching part and all, where you could, I would like to know some insights. So sales coaching is generally incredibly impactful, but it's hard to scale when you've got a lot of dozens of representatives working, and then there are new representatives joining in, right? So what are those creative ways that you have seen or imagined for making coaching both scalable and personal at the same time?
Yeah, I'm going to have a theme here, because it's not, coaching isn't about knowledge. At least for me, it's not about knowledge. We always have those sessions where, yes, this is going to be about you learning about our product, our new feature, whatever that is. What I really focus on is confidence. And it's the only way I have found to build confidence at scale is by giving reps that safe space to practice over and over again without that pressure of being in a live deal. And I don't know if you ask a rep to say, let's do a role play on the call right now, no one is going to volunteer. But when I throw them into a bot to role play, then they're more comfortable. So that's where I see AI coming in. When it's programmed right, A bot can give the reps endless scenarios. So a buyer goes cold, or they get hit with a really tough objection, or maybe another champion in the deal is politically stuck. Like whatever that is, every rep has to practice a little bit of that creativity, curiosity, and adaptability to be effective. So the more variety they face in practice, the more confident they are in the wilds. That's why I try to build out a lot of different scenarios. That's how I'm scaling coaching, by scaling their confidence.
Very nice. I think a lot of representatives should be very thankful to you with the way your thought process. And I mean, I'm sure. So I was asking about resistance earlier, right? So, but now there is something else I wanted to ask, which is on the similar lines. So there is often this fear that a lot of representatives might be thinking that AI will replace the human sellers. In your view, like what's the sweet spot for AI and humans working together to close more deals?
Yeah, it's kind of like the elephant in the room, right? Everyone's feeling that AI is coming to replace me. I don't think AI is coming to replace sellers. I do think it's here to make them more dangerous in the best way, because it's that partnership between you and AI. AI can clear the admin grind. It can surface insights. It can even create those practice arenas that we've talked about, where reps can sharpen their instincts. It can't look a buyer in the eye. It can't build trust, and it can't sense what isn't being said. So that's where humans win. So when I think of AI as a partner, I have to put it this way. AI is going to set the table. Humans still have to cook the meal. Without AI, sellers would be wasting that time setting the table. But without humans, there's no meal to have. So together, you're going to get more efficiency, more connection, and you're going to see that partnership really help make you an incredible seller. Incredible seller.
I definitely resonate with what you mentioned, Brittany. Very interesting. So something really, this is for you. So you describe yourself as a change agent.
Oh, yeah.
So what is that one outdated sales enablement practice you'd love to see gone forever?
Yeah, good question. If I could kill one thing forever, it'd be the obsession with playbooks and like the one-off trainings. You know, it looks good on paper, we're checking the box type stuff. That stuff doesn't actually change behavior though. And I've been guilty of that. Like early on in my career, I kind of made myself the librarian. I was building those perfect playbooks, and it didn't move the needle. No one was ready to do that. I could build the best playbook, and it doesn't matter. It's not going to change behavior. So I'm in the middle of that transition now, but I'm shifting to not really creating more content, but creating confidence. You know, it's not perfect. And I kind of do slip back into those old habits because it feels safe. Like, let me just put together a talk track for you. But the work that's actually driving change, so that change agent role that I play, is empowerment. So not enablement, empowerment. So practice, coaching, safe spaces for the reps to really think critically and adapt in the wild. And honestly, I think this is what enablement should be evolving into, because the minute we freeze into this is how it's been done, we're really just kind of adding to the noise for buyers.
Very nice. Very, very interesting. So, I mean, so since I talk to a lot of my colleagues and where we talk about playbooks and all, but your take is completely different from what I've seen earlier. So do you think we could do something better in place of playbooks instead of just removing it completely or something?
I think since I'm in that transition too, so when I look at the playbooks, maybe it's not just a playbook, it's a one pager, but it has those actions for them, the things that really matter to them. Why is this important to me? What can I do with this? How do I use this? Instead of, here's everything you need to know, I'm just giving them how they take action with what we're sharing.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Very interesting. So also coming to the next question, right? Like you've mentioned that you're being about neurodivergent.
Yes.
So how has that shaped the way you approach sales strategy and training?
Yeah, I feel like the Charlie meme where like all of the like conspiracy theories are everywhere. When someone asks me about my neurodivergency, I honestly think it's my superpower in enablement because my brain really just doesn't like those surface level answers to things. I'm wired more to spot those patterns, to question assumptions, and then to connect the dots other people miss. Like I say it all the time, I can see that 300,000-foot view, but I could also get into the details. I can look around corners and I can connect those dots. So when I build a training, I'm not asking, what do we normally do? I'm asking, why do we do it this way? And can I do it better? And so that's where I see that neurodivergency really helping. It also makes me design differently because I know what it feels like to be in a system that wasn't built for me. So I really don't like those cookie cutter trainings. I build things that spark curiosity, that confidence, and that really helps all kinds of learners. So yeah,
Very
neurodivergency
interesting.
isn't something I've really had to overcome. I kind of think of it, this is the thing that allows me to break the rules, to rebuild things and empower others to do the same.
Yeah, I totally agree to that. Like, so one of the conversations I was having with another sales leader out there, so he was also mentioning on the similar note. So you don't have to also give them instructions on how to do, but you should always also ask them like, how can we do this better? Give them that freedom, empower them with whatever they need to close the deals or whatever, right? So just able to connect to what you said versus,
Yeah.
I think things are changing.
Oh, yes.
So he was also referring to this book called No, It's Your Ship. So where you could also say like, this is your deal, so you close it. You are the owner.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah. So I have one question about future where of sales enablement. Like, so looking ahead of probably in 3 to 5 years, how do you see AI automation and human coaching working together to drive the revenue growth? I hope by then there will be a lot of people who will be figuring out, but I wanted like to know your take on.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Funny thing about future, right? Like none of us are going to get that exactly right when we're looking 3 to 5 years in the future. But I don't think of that as a problem. I really think that's an opportunity. Like knowing none of us are going to get it right, that just means there's so much that we can do with that. So maybe not predicting what the next few years look like. I hope it does stretch though how we think about it. So moving past AI as a tool, like we're already there. It's going to move into AI as a partner. I feel that. In the next 3 to 5 years, I really don't think questions will be like, how do reps use AI? I think it'll be like, how do reps work with AI? That could mean that could be co-building strategy. It could be simulations that evolve faster than the market. It could be even AI stepping into calls as an invisible coach. The lines between automation, coaching, performance, I really believe are going to blur a lot. I don't think it's going to replace coaching or automation. I think it's going to solve everything. It's what I see is human skill, machine intelligence, and enablement really I'll just kind of merge and we can fully in ways that we really can't fully see yet. It's less about content, more about reimagining what our human potential would be with that kind of sidekick with AI. Like, what are we going to be capable of? I think that's an awesome idea.
Yeah. I really wanted to look at how this is going to help the team and empower them with like what we wanted to do always. Very interesting. So even I was just something randomly came into my mind, like you instead of, you're mother of four, but I think all the representatives who are getting empowered from you should you're like, the whole day you're basically working towards either empowering kids, giving them training, or towards the reps. It's like your mother the
I'm
whole
the mother
time.
of everyone, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
somehow we are mothering everything.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So I have few couple of rapid fire questions
Ooh,
before
okay.
we end the podcast, where I really wanted some interesting answers that I want to hear from you. So first one, cold call or warm intro, what's more fun?
cold call, because if you do it right, like both you and the buyer are going to end the call and be like, that was a good call. I don't know. I just like the cold call.
Oh, wonderful. Very nice. So if sales enablement were a superpower, what would your superpower name be?
I'm totally the fire starter. So I want to spark transformation everywhere I go.
Very interesting. So one sales tool you can't live without besides email and CRM.
ChatGPT, even though the version 5 right now is kind of frustrating at times, it's honestly one of the fastest tools to get to that clarity and really expand creativity.
Okay, I should have added ChatGPT also besides.
I know.
Yeah. So coffee, tea, or something stronger before a big pitch.
Coffee all day. You won't catch me switching to whiskey at any point, but I will go out and have an espresso martini if we have a win.
Wonderful. Okay. Last question. First word that comes to mind when you hear AI in sales.
Empowerment. It's empowerment, because when it's done right, it's not going to replace us. It's going to multiply what humans do. Empower.
Wonderful, Brittany. I mean, I really enjoyed the conversation very well. I've learned a lot from this insights where I haven't, like I said earlier, haven't learned a lot in the enablement space, but I think there's a lot of interesting insights I got from you.
Well, good.
Thank you so much for being on our show on Pitch Perfect. Really appreciate it.
So much for having me. It was so wonderful getting to chat with you today.